Let's start with our first news. It has been years since fans seriously believed Conor would finally make his UFC return, ever since the collapse of his planned comeback at UFC 303 back in 2024. The conversation around him has mostly been filled with doubt, frustration, and uncertainty. Every time Dana White was asked about Conor during press conferences or interviews, he usually avoided giving a direct answer. Most of the time, Dana would simply say that he had no clue what Conor wanted to do, or when he planned to come back. He always repeated the same thing: when Conor is ready, he will contact the UFC himself. But now, for the first time in a very long time, Dana sounds truly confident about Conor stepping back inside the octagon. During a new interview with Jim Rome, Dana revealed that there are big things happening behind the scenes, and according to him, everything is finally moving in the right direction. Dana made it very clear that he believes Conor will return this summer. During the interview, Dana explained that he and Conor are currently in a great place, and he sounded far more optimistic than fans are used to hearing. Dana said he is extremely confident that Conor will fight this year, and he believes the UFC will get everything dialed in and ready for his return. He also pointed out that Conor has been actively training, and there is already footage circulating online showing him preparing again. When Jim Rome pushed Dana for more details about when and where the fight could happen, Dana stopped short of naming an opponent or event. However, he doubled down on one major statement. He confidently said that Conor will fight this summer. Dana admitted that he also believed the comeback would happen last year, but this time he says things feel different. According to him, Conor looks motivated, focused, and fully locked in for another UFC run. Move on to another news. The tension between Khamzat and Sean Strickland has officially reached another level, and fans are now seeing just how personal this rivalry has become. Following their intense face-off, Khamzat appeared in a video alongside Adam Zubarov, where he finally explained exactly why he decided to kick Strickland. During the heated altercation, according to Khamzat, the situation was getting completely out of control, and he felt like he had no other choice but to react before things escalated even further. In the video, Khamzat made it clear that he believes Strickland constantly tries to push people beyond their limits with disrespectful comments and personal insults. Khamzat explained that if he allowed Strickland to continue acting that way without responding, things would only get worse over time. He said that Strickland would continue talking badly about his family, including his mother and father, if nobody stopped him. For Khamzat, that crossed a major line, and he felt the need to immediately shut the situation down before it went any further. The moment instantly exploded across social media, with fans debating whether Khamzat was justified in his reaction or if he simply lost control during the confrontation. Some fans believe Khamzat showed restraint for as long as possible before finally snapping, while others think Sean successfully got into his head exactly the way he intended to. Either way, the altercation has added even more heat to an already massive matchup that fans were already incredibly excited about. What makes this rivalry even more dangerous is the fact that both fighters are known for being extremely emotional and aggressive competitors. Khamzat has built a reputation as one of the most intense fighters on the entire UFC roster, while Strickland has become famous for saying controversial things and constantly trying to mentally break his opponents before fight night even arrives. When you combine those two personalities together, moments like this almost feel inevitable. Meanwhile, Henry Cejudo recently discussed the matchup during an episode of his podcast, where he gave his thoughts on how the fight could actually play out inside the octagon. According to Henry, this fight is far more competitive than many fans believe. He explained that Khamzat's pressure, wrestling, and explosiveness could create serious problems early in the fight, especially if he manages to overwhelm Strickland right away. However, Henry also pointed out that Strickland's durability, cardio, and non-stop pressure could become a major factor if the fight extends into the later rounds. Right now, the rivalry feels absolutely explosive, and the tension between both men continues growing every single day. Move on to another news. Alexander Volkov recently shared his thoughts on the potential Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane matchup at UFC Freedom 250, and surprisingly, Volkov does not believe this fight will be close at all. In fact, Volkov sounded extremely confident that Gane would completely outclass Alex inside the octagon. While many fans are excited about the possibility of Alex moving up to heavyweight after his incredible run at light heavyweight, Volkov believes the stylistic matchup heavily favors Gane from start to finish. During the interview, Volkov explained that Cyril is currently his favorite to win the fight, and he specifically pointed to Gane's elite footwork and movement as the biggest reasons why. According to Volkov, Alex has incredible knockout power and deserves massive respect for what he has accomplished, but heavyweight is a completely different challenge. Volkov admitted that he is unsure how Alex will perform against larger, faster heavyweights, especially someone with the movement and striking style of Gane. Volkov went on to explain that Alex usually performs best when he is able to pressure opponents, slowly trap them against the cage, and set up dangerous counterattacks. However, he believes Gane's style makes that incredibly difficult to accomplish. According to Volkov, Gane constantly moves around the octagon, mixes in punches and kicks, and rarely stays in one position long enough for opponents to establish rhythm or pressure. That movement, combined with Gane's speed for a heavyweight, could create major problems for Alex throughout the fight. He also mentioned that Gane does not give opponents many clean opportunities, tool and powerful shots because he is always changing angles and resetting positions. Volkov believes that could frustrate Alex over the course of the fight and prevent him from finding the devastating knockout shot that fans are used to seeing. In Volkov's eyes, this is not just a difficult matchup for Alex, it is possibly one of the worst stylistic matchups available in the heavyweight division. At the same time, many fans still believe Alex only needs one clean punch to completely change the fight. His power has already shocked multiple divisions, and there are plenty of people who think that power will carry over to heavyweight without any problems. Still, Volkov clearly feels that technique, movement, and distance management will outweigh pure knockout ability in this matchup. Meanwhile, Islam recently released a new training video from the gym, and fans immediately noticed how absolutely jacked he looks right now. The lightweight champion appeared bigger, stronger, and more muscular than ever while lifting heavy weights during the session, and the footage quickly started gaining attention across social media. Move on to another news. Henry Cejudo recently gave his prediction for the massive Khamzat vs Strickland Strickland matchup during an episode of the Pound for Pound podcast, and surprisingly, Henry is leaning toward Sean pulling off the upset. In fact, Henry sounded so confident in his prediction that he revealed he is willing to put real money behind it. According to Henry, Strickland's unique style could create serious problems for Khamzat inside the octagon, especially over the course of a long and exhausting fight. While discussing the matchup, Henry explained that Sean's jab is one of the biggest weapons in the entire middleweight division. He pointed out how Sean constantly uses pressure, awkward timing, and those long teep kicks to disrupt his opponents and slowly wear them down round after round. Henry believes that style is very different from what Khamzat usually deals with, and he thinks the constant pressure and volume could make things uncomfortable for Khamzat very quickly. Henry also mentioned that styles make fights, and even though Sean previously lost to Duplessis, this matchup feels completely different to him. According to Henry, Sean has shown tremendous improvement in several key areas, especially when it comes to defending takedowns and getting back to his feet after being grounded. He explained that even if Khamzat manages to take Sean down early, Strickland has repeatedly proven that he can survive difficult situations and immediately work his way back into the fight. Another major point Henry brought up was Sean's cardio and durability. He believes Sean can maintain pressure for all 5 rounds without slowing down, which could become a huge factor if Khamzat is unable to secure an early finish. Henry explained that Khamzat is extremely dangerous in the opening rounds because of his explosiveness and aggression, but if Sean survives the early storm, the momentum of the fight could slowly start shifting in his favor. As the conversation continued, Henry became even more confident in his prediction. At one point, he joked about being retired but still wanting to put money on Sean to win the fight. Henry then officially stated that he is betting $1,000 on Sean Strickland to get the victory. That statement immediately caught fans' attention online because many people still view Khamzat as one of the most terrifying fighters in the UFC today. Meanwhile, Dana White recently gave fans another massive update regarding Conor's long-awaited UFC return. After years of uncertainty and failed comeback talks, Dana now says he is extremely confident that Conor will finally return and compete this summer. Move on to another news. The UFC has been hit with multiple fight cancellations after several fighters were forced to pull out of their scheduled matchups due to injuries. Fans were already excited for some of these fights, but unfortunately, the injury bug has started causing serious problems once again, and now the promotion is scrambling to figure things out before the upcoming events. The first major update involves Muslim Salikhov, who was originally scheduled to face Jake Matthews at the UFC Macau card on May 30th. The matchup had generated a lot of interest because both fighters are known for their dangerous striking and ability to finish fights at any moment. However, Salikhov recently revealed on Instagram that he has officially withdrawn from the fight after being forced to undergo elbow surgery. According to Salakhov, the injury situation became impossible to ignore, and doctors decided surgery was necessary immediately. In his statement, Salakhov explained that sometimes expectations and reality simply do not align, especially in a sport as brutal and unpredictable as MMA. He admitted that injuries can happen when fighters least expect them, no matter how carefully they prepare during training camp. Salakhov also confirmed that the elbow surgery already took place successfully, and now he will begin the recovery process before eventually returning to competition. Thankfully for fans, he sounded optimistic about the situation and stated that recovery should only take a couple of weeks before he can slowly start getting back into action again. Even though he expressed disappointment that fans will miss the fight against Jake Matthews, he promised that he will absolutely return for more fights very soon. He even ended his message with Inshallah, showing confidence that everything will work out positively during recovery. Unfortunately, that was not the only fight cancellation announced recently. According to MMA Junkie reporter Nolan King, Nicholas Dalby has also been forced out of his scheduled matchup against Jeremiah Wells. The fight was expected to take place next week, making the timing especially difficult for the UFC since there is now very little time left to secure a replacement opponent. At this moment, fans are waiting to see whether the UFC can quickly find short-notice replacements to keep both fights alive. The promotion has managed to save many cancelled fights in the past by bringing in late replacements, but it always becomes much harder when injuries happen so close to the event date. For now, the biggest priority is making sure the injured fighters fully recover and eventually return healthy. Injuries remain one of the most frustrating parts of MMA because fans can go from being incredibly excited for a fight to seeing it disappear almost overnight. Move on to another news. Carlos Prates recently made it very clear that he is not intimidated by Islam's grappling, wrestling, or relentless pressure inside the octagon. As discussions continue growing around a potential fight between the two, many fans have questioned whether Prates could actually survive against one of the most dominant grapplers in the entire UFC. However, Prates seems completely confident in his abilities and believes he has the tools necessary to deal with Islam's dangerous ground game. While speaking about the possible matchup, Prates directly shut down the idea that he fears Islam's takedowns. According to him, people are acting like opponents automatically lose the moment Islam grabs hold of them, but he does not see it that way at all. Prates confidently reminded everyone that he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and believes his grappling experience will allow him to remain calm even if the fight hits the mat. That confidence immediately sparked a huge reaction from fans online because many fighters have entered bouts against Islam sounding very similar. Before fighting him, several opponents talked about being prepared for the wrestling, staying composed under pressure, and surviving the grappling exchanges. However, once the cage door closed, things usually looked completely different. Islam has developed a reputation for mentally and physically breaking opponents over the course of a fight with non-stop pressure, suffocating control, and constant attacks. What makes Islam especially dangerous is the way he slowly drains fighters round after round. Even when opponents initially defend takedowns successfully, the pressure never stops. Eventually, many fighters begin slowing down, making mistakes, and losing confidence as Islam continues pushing forward. Fans often describe it as watching opponents slowly have their soul taken away during the fight because of how exhausting and overwhelming his style becomes over time. Still, Prates clearly believes he would offer a completely different challenge. His striking is dangerous, his confidence is high, and his grappling credentials make the matchup far more interesting than some people expected at first. A fight between the two would create a fascinating clash of styles, especially if Prates could force Islam into extended striking exchanges instead of allowing him to fully control the fight on the ground. At the same time, another possible opponent being discussed for Islam is Ian Garry. That matchup has also gained a lot of attention recently because of Gary's movement, striking, and ability to manage distance. Some fans believe Gary's style could create unique problems for Islam, while others think the wrestling pressure would eventually become too much for him to handle. Right now, both potential matchups sound massive for the division, and fans are already debating which fight would be more exciting to watch inside the octagon. Move on to another news. The UFC 328 press conference turned into complete chaos after Khamzat and Strickland Strickland nearly lost control during an insanely heated face-off. Fans expected tension between these two, but almost nobody expected things to escalate this quickly. The press conference instantly became one of the most entertaining UFC media events in recent memory, with fans flooding the live stream from all over the world. At one point, the UFC reportedly peaked at around 210,000 live viewers on YouTube alone, and that number did not even include all the additional viewers watching through MMA media outlets like MMA Junkie and MMA Fighting. It was clear from the beginning that this fight already has massive hype behind it, and the energy inside the arena felt completely different compared to most recent press conferences. Throughout the entire event, Khamzat and Strickland constantly exchanged insults, with nearly all the attention focused directly on them. The other fighters on stage almost felt invisible because the tension between the two main event stars completely dominated the atmosphere. From the second they saw each other face to face, both men immediately started trash-talking non-stop. Strickland took several shots at Khamzat during the conference, including comments about Khamzat not being American and references to his alleged connections with Ramzan Kadyrov. Meanwhile, Khamzat fired back with personal attacks aimed at Strickland's family situation, while also claiming that he dominated Sean during previous training sessions together. At one point, Khamzat even mocked Strickland by saying he squeezed all the energy out of him during sparring and claimed Sean was constantly tapping. Things became even more intense later in the conference when Khamzat accused Strickland of refusing to fight him outside the gym during a previous encounter. According to Khamzat, he directly challenged Sean to step outside and settle things in the street, but Sean refused to do it. Strickland immediately denied the story and accused Khamzat of rewriting history while continuing to insult him face to face. By the end of the press conference, security had completely surrounded the stage in preparation for the final face-off. Dana White stood nearby while both fighters got directly into each other's faces. During the stare-down, Khamzat warned Sean that he was not going to touch him at first, but seconds later he suddenly kicked Strickland. In the middle of the confrontation, Sean instantly exploded in anger, calling Khamzat a coward while security rushed in before things could spiral completely out of control.